Lesson 24. Reading. One problem is solved. June 5th. Norman Reed, head of men's furnishings at Longacre's department store, was watching his salesmen and the customers they were serving. He knew it was difficult to please customers when choices were limited. Their stock was becoming quite low now. The phone rang. Mr. Reed picked it up and heard Mr. Stanton's voice. "Hello, is that you, Norman? Can you come up to my office for a few minutes?" Yes, right away." Well, thought Mr. Reed, he's calling me Norman again. I wonder why he's in such a good mood. He probably just fired another secretary. That always makes him feel good for the rest of the day. He took the elevator up to the 8th floor. Miss Smith told him to go right into Mr. Stanton's office. "Hello, Norman. How are you? Come in and sit down. Have a cigar." "No, thank you, Mr. Stanton. I don't smoke." "Oh, yes, I remember. Say, about that matter of your orders. Did you find the orders I sent into your office, Mr. Stanton?" "Well, not exactly. But would you believe this same thing happened in two other departments in the last few days? The sports department and the luggage department. The sports department ordered 5,000 cans of tennis balls, and they got 50. Well, I knew something was wrong, so I called in a computer specialist. He located the problem in 5 minutes. We had a young programmer who was feeding the wrong information into the computer. Our inventories all over the store are off. Our orders are all mixed up. A lot of our billings are wrong. It's going to cost Longacres more than $100,000 before we're through." "Well, I'm glad to hear you found the problem, Mr. Stanton. That's what vice presidents are for, Norman. But we still have nothing to sell, Mr. Stanton." "Don't worry about that, Norman. You'll have all you can sell. I'm buying all of Barton and Long's stock. They're going out of business. If you and your salesmen can sell all that stuff, Norman, I'll see that you get a raise." "Well, we have some good customers, Mr. Stanton, but I don't know if they're that good." "We'll do our best, of course, Mr. Stanton." "That's all you can do, Norman. That's all you can do."
Questions on the reading.
1. Why were choices for the customers more limited than usual?
2. Why was their stock becoming lower all the time?
3. When Mr. Reed answered the phone, did he feel Mr. Stanton was in a better or worse mood than usual?
4. What always makes Mr. Stanton feel better?
5. Did the sports department of Longacres get more or fewer tennis balls than they ordered? How many fewer?
6. Who has a more important position in Longacres, Mr. Stanton or Mr. Reed?
7. Do you think Mr. Stanton is more important to Longacres than Mr. Reed?
Now check your answers.
1. Why were choices for the customers more limited than usual?
Because their stock was getting quite low.
2. Why was their stock becoming lower all the time?
Because the orders were all mixed up.
3. When Mr. Reed answered the phone, did he feel Mr. Stanton was in a better or worse mood than usual?
He thought he was in a better mood.
4. What always makes Mr. Stanton feel better?
He feels better when he fires a secretary.
5. Did the sports department of Longacres get more or fewer tennis balls than they ordered?
They got fewer.
How many fewer?
They got 4,950 fewer.
6. Who has a more important position in Longacres, Mr. Stanton or Mr. Reed?
Mr. Stanton does.
7. Do you think Mr. Stanton is more important to Longacres than Mr. Reed?
No, not really. Longacres needs both of them.
Pronunciation. Syllabic N. Repeat these words. The unstressed vowel after the t and d is a syllabic N. Cotton, cotton. Button, button. Martin, Martin. Fulton, Fulton. Sentence, sentence. Certainly, certainly. Kindergarten, kindergarten. Important, important. Sudden, sudden. Wouldn't, wouldn't. Listen.
Cotton, button, Martin, Fulton. Sentence, certainly. Kindergarten, important, sudden, wouldn't.
Now repeat. Cotton, button, Martin, Fulton. Sentence, certainly. Kindergarten, important, sudden, wouldn't. Repeat these phrases. The unstressed vowel in and, an, in is often a syllabic n.
Wait and see. Wait and see. Hot and cold. Hot and cold. Coat and hat. Coat and hat. Eat and drink. Eat and drink. Bought an apple. Bought an apple. Get in trouble. Get in trouble.
Read and write. Read and write. Add and subtract. Add and subtract. Red and gold. Red and gold. Head and arms. Head and arms. Road and hour. Road and hour. Read in bed. Read in bed. Listen.
Wait and see. Hot and cold. Coat and hat. Eat and drink. Bought an apple. Get in trouble.
Read and write. Add and subtract. Red and gold. Head and arms. Road and hour. Read in bed. Now repeat, please.
Wait and see. Hot and cold. Coat and hat. Eat and drink. Bought an apple. Get in trouble.
Read and write. Add and subtract. Red and gold. Head and arms. Road and hour. Read in bed.
Practice drills and exercises. 1. Comparison, using more, less, and fewer. Repeat these sentences.
They hired more salesmen, but they have fewer customers. They hired more salesmen, but they have fewer customers.
I smoke fewer cigars than I used to. I smoke fewer cigars than I used to.
Won't you have some more bananas and cream? Won't you have some more bananas and cream?
My car uses more oil and less gas than it used to. My car uses more oil and less gas than it used to.
I'd like less ice cream and more cake, please. I'd like less ice cream and more cake, please.
Please make a little less noise. Please make a little less noise.
Listen.
They hired more salesmen, but they have fewer customers.
I smoke fewer cigars than I used to.
Won't you have some more bananas and cream?
My car uses more oil and less gas than it used to.
I'd like less ice cream and more cake, please.
Please make a little less noise. Now repeat, please.
They hired more salesmen, but they have fewer customers.
I smoke fewer cigars than I used to.
Won't you have some more bananas and cream?
My car uses more oil and less gas than it used to.
I'd like less ice cream and more cake, please.
Please make a little less noise.
Complete the sentence, he has, than I do, using less with mass nouns and fewer with count nouns. Listen to the models.
1. Money.
He has less money than I do.
He has less money than I do.
He has less money than I do.
2. Friend.
He has fewer friends than I do.
He has fewer friends than I do.
He has fewer friends than I do.
Now do the exercise.
1. Money.
He has less money than I do.
2. Friend.
He has fewer friends than I do.
3. Bill.
He has fewer bills than I do.
4. Information.
He has less information than I do.
5. Equipment.
He has less equipment than I do.
6. Book.
He has fewer books than I do.
7. Child.
He has fewer children than I do.
8. Work.
He has less work than I do.
9. Clothes.
He has fewer clothes than I do.
10. Time.
He has less time than I do.
2. Comparison. As much, many, as. As much milk as many books as. Take the part of speaker A. Complete the question, do you have as much, many, as I have? Use much with mass nouns. Use many with count nouns. Speaker B, answer freely. Listen to the models.
1. Work.
Do you have as much work as I have?
Do you have as much work as I have?
Do you have as much work as I have?
I think I have a lot more work than you do. 2. Book.
Do you have as many books as I have?
Do you have as many books as I have?
Do you have as many books as I have?
I think I have fewer books than you do.
Now you do the exercise.
1. Work.
Do you have as much work as I have?
I think I have a lot more work than you do. 2. Book.
Do you have as many books as I have?
I think I have fewer books than you do. 3. Luck.
Do you have as much luck as I have?
I think I have less luck than you do. 4. Information.
Do you have as much information as I have?
I think I have more information than you do. 5. Customer.
Do you have as many customers as I have?
I think I have more customers than you do. 6. Bill.
Do you have as many bills as I have?
I think I have fewer bills than you do. 7. Wine.
Do you have as much wine as I have?
I think I have less wine than you do. 8. Appointment.
Do you have as many appointments as I have?
I think I have fewer appointments than you do. 9. Employee.
Do you have as many employees as I have?
I think I have more employees than you do. 10. Business.
Do you have as much business as I have?
I think I have more business than you do. 11. Problem.
Do you have as many problems as I have?
I think I have fewer problems than you do. 12. Pipe.
Do you have as many pipes as I have?
I think I have more pipes than you do.
Now take the part of speaker B.
1. Do you have as much work as I have?
2. Do you have as many books as I have?
3. Do you have as much luck as I have?
4. Do you have as much information as I have?
5. Do you have as many customers as I have?
6. Do you have as many bills as I have?
7. Do you have as much wine as I have?
8. Do you have as many appointments as I have?
9. Do you have as many employees as I have?
10. Do you have as much business as I have?
11. Do you have as many problems as I have?
12. Do you have as many pipes as I have?
3. Simulated conversation. Practice in using comparative constructions. Based on the facts given, two students, speakers A and B, are to engage in simulated conversation. Begin by asking and answering questions using comparative constructions. Then extend the conversation by following any reasonable line of questioning. For example, invent professions, addresses, etc. for the people, ask about uses or origins, etc. of things, inquire about things to do and see, ask about life in cities. Follow the model in the example below.
1. June's 18. Helen's 20.
2. Mr. Black's 27. Mr. Green's 29. Mr. Brown's 27.
3. John's 6 feet tall. Bill's 5 feet 10 inches tall.
4. Miss Long's 32. Miss Allen's 32. Miss White's 49.
5. Table A's 6 feet long, 2 feet wide, 3 feet high. Table B's 9 feet long, 2 feet wide, 2 feet 6 inches high.
6. Tokyo, 9 million. New York, 8 million. Madrid, 3 million. Example.
Who's older, June or Helen?
Helen is.
How much older is she than June?
She's 2 years older.
Is June prettier than Helen?
Oh my, no. Helen's a lot prettier than June, but June's a better student.
Oh, I didn't know she was a student. Where does she go to school?
Longwood University.
Where's that?
I believe it's in New York.
What's she studying, do you know?
Listening practice. Reading, My Family. Listen to the reading until you can understand it.
Let me introduce myself. My name's Bob Black. I'd like to tell you all about my family. My older brother, John Black, is a newspaper reporter now. When he was in school, he was a very good student. He was always the best student in his class. Of all my brothers and sisters, and I have 8 of them, I think John's the most intelligent. I know I'm not as intelligent as John. John likes to read, and he's always reading something. He likes geography best, and last week he was reading about Greece. That must be one of the most beautiful countries in the world. I like geography too, but I prefer to see things rather than read about them. I'd love to go to Greece. I'd like to see some of the old cities there. Of course, I'd take a lot of pictures. From Greece, I'd go to Italy, and then to France and Spain. I'm sorry. Here I am talking about myself, and I plan to tell you all about my family. Oh, the phone's ringing. Will you excuse me, please? I'll have to answer it.
Do the comprehension checkup. Listen to the statement and then say true or false. The teacher or the tape will then give you the correct answer.
Comprehension checkup. 1. The person reading the selection is Bob Black.
True.
2. Bob's brother John is younger than he is.
False.
3. John was the best student in his class.
True.
4. John's a salesman.
False.
5. Bob has one brother and 2 sisters.
False.
6. Bob thinks John is the most intelligent person in his family.
True.
7. John's favorite subject is history.
False.
8. The other night, John was reading about Spain.
False.
9. Bob would rather see things than read about them.
True.
10. Bob would like to go to Greece, Italy, and Spain.
True.
11. Bob stopped talking because he had to answer the phone.
True.
End of Lesson 24.